Ooh, not right. Drew Titan in the building.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Drew, I got to tell you, man. I woke up this morning and I didn't realize. I was like, man, I'm excited to talk to Drew Titan. What is it about this morning that makes me so excited to talk about Drew Titan, to talk to Drew? And I was like, man, this nigga's famous. This dude is world famous. Wow. Hey, Drew, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you tell him the first time how we talked? Do you recall that?
Yeah, I do. It was actually by accident. It was by accident.
Tell him how we met.
I was you was actually trying to reach out to BFTB on the Google Hangouts, and you called me by accident because we was all on the same Hangout, and we had a great conversation. And OG Boxing Talk spun off from that conversation, actually. Yeah.
Pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago now.
Yep.
Yeah, and here we are.
Hey, I ain't big on coincidence, dog.
Nah, me neither.
I don't do coincidence. I want to tell you, man, I didn't even listen yesterday, Drew. Hey, welcome everybody, man. We're going to have a conversation, just me and Drew this morning. This is going to be very, very a conversation between me and Drew because we were talking about some things behind the scenes. And you guys, I hope you guys will enjoy this conversation. Super chats are greatly appreciated. I know I don't read them so they don't come in. I'm not begging for them, but dog, we are really definitely, doing things. So thank you guys very much. Drew, would you mind making sure you hit the super chats if these guys donate? Because really,
sure,
we don't get no super chats no more. They did the analytics as I do my analytics. Like, damn, nobody super chats me anymore. I was really hurt. Then I was like, oh no, that's because you don't ever read them shit, you fuck. So I'm sorry, dude. If you guys are offended by me not reading super chats, I'm so sorry. I just sometimes, man, with all this shit going on and this drama people be trying to start, you just want to get into the message. And then sometimes also, you feel guilty because so many people will just, you beg for super chats, you beg for super chats, you beg for super chats. And I'm not, what do you call it? Immune to the witchcraft of repeated messages. You know what I mean? I'm not that slow. I know that there's a technique that is used, which is if you repeat the same thing enough times, that's suggestion. If you just keep saying it, like, do you want your hand to be tight? Because if you keep holding your finger here, I promise you that it'll be tight. Now, it's not going to be tight like that man's hand is tight, but this tight over here, and I can say tight 15 times, dog. And you won't realize that shit, by the time you try to move your finger, because you are Pavlov's dog, when I say tight, you tighten your shit up. And you've been sitting there holding that shit like that for 5 minutes while I say tight, 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 tight. Then I tell you, wah, open your fingers. You can't open your fingers, can you? And you be like, damn, I can't open my fingers. Why? Nigga, because I told you 15 times to squeeze your fucking hand together. And for 10 minutes, I said tight, tight, tight to everybody. And you're all squeezing your fucking fingers. That's why your fingers can't open, dumbass. It's a fucking trick. It's a trick of suggestion. So that's hypnotism.
Shout out to Fahim Sadiq Sator. He said, Devin Alexander came with an agenda, and I watched Drew's knowledge and passion change that man's heart. Salute. I don't think he salute to you in the super chat, brother. I don't think he had an agenda. I think he was misinformed. Like most things about me, about Fannon, about the LDBC. He was uninformed, and he admitted that. Someone just being that he has a relationship with Sugar Hill. Of course, when you have a relationship with, when you think they're under an attack, your immediate reaction is to defend them. And he said that when he saw my conversation with Sugar Hill, what he was shown made it look like I was drilling him and I was being disrespectful, which prompted him to send out a tweet. And within 5 minutes of the conversation, I changed the brother's mind. And now we have understanding. We talk behind the scenes now. He has a YouTube channel, and
that we
Devin's,
will a YouTube channel
yeah,
that we shall. I'm going to support full throttle.
correct.
He should not be one of these Xboxers champions that's sitting there with 1,000 subs.
That's right.
He shouldn't be. Devin Alexander hits that YouTube thing hits. We should all go over there and say celebration, brother. Thank you.
That's right.
And hit them subscribes before he ever put a motherfucking piece of shit out.
That's right.
We should have Devin Alexander, because we can do this. When Devin Alexander puts his channel up, we don't even care if he got a video. It should just say Devin Alexander. We know it's him. He should have 1,000 subs before he puts something up.
That's right. And see, that's what we do. And I know there was a lot of people that tuned in looking for the shit show. They were looking for some cursing and screaming and disrespect. And I hope I disappointed you, because that was the intent. Well, actually, I wasn't even thinking about you motherfuckers. Shout out to Sugar Fantastic in that super chat. I wasn't really thinking about you motherfuckers, because I know who I am as a human being. I know who I am as a man, a black man at that. And if you listen to the conversation, he understands what it is to be a black man and a black athlete at that. He revealed some stuff to us that I knew he went through. Y'all heard when he said, I went to the UK and he dealt with the racist shit out there. Y'all heard when he said, when he agreed to come on to the show, he said, oh yeah, people hit me up and said, watch out for that guy. You know, he's racist. He's going to try and play the race card. What race card? We had a conversation as two black men. And guess what? We walk in the same shoes. We walk out our door, we're black. What's the problem with discussing that? Huh? What's the problem with Jewish people getting together and discussing their history? What's the problem with Haitians getting together and discussing their history? What's the problem with that? There's no problem. It's only truth. And it's how people interpret it. And that's a sad state of affairs when we cannot discuss what it's like to walk in our shoes. That's all it is. So when Devin got on here, we had a conversation. Like when I stepped into the barbershop, I didn't disrespect Sugar Hill. We had a conversation. Forget about the gym gear that I had on. I came from the fucking gym. I had on a camouflage do-rag and a camouflage tank top. I was coming from the fucking gym. But don't let you ever heard, don't judge a book by its cover? I'm not a fucking dummy. I'm not a dummy by far. A lot of these motherfucking haters out here, I'm smarter than all of them. I guarantee you I am. You know, when I was a kid, and this might not necessarily be about boxing, but really just follow me on here. When I was a kid, I grew up in the 80s. I had a steady diet of G.I. Joe and Transformers. 80s was phenomenal time for me. And I was always able to separate truth from reality. I understood it was a cartoon. I understood it was fiction. And I used to say to my brother and my friends, I'm like, yo, this is cool, but you know, nothing like Cobra could really exist. I mean, there can't be an army of people that have one ideology to take over the fucking world. There can never be that, right? And as I got older, I said, holy shit. Absolutely they can. You know why? Cobra thinks they're right. Terrorists flying their planes into buildings. They think they're right. Shout out to T-Town Cruz. That super chat. Much appreciated, brother. You're not evil if you think you're right. A Klansman can hang a black man from a tree and think he's right and justify his actions with scriptures from the Bible. They think they're right. They think we're evil just for existing because we're this color. They think they're right. Now, you wonder why a lot of these weird ass shows, these hater shows, you know, they'll be having like 100 people, 200 people in their chat. all hating the LDBC, hating on us. And some people will go into that and be like, what the hell he talking about or she's talking about? And you look at the chat and everyone's crazy. But really think about it. That's 200 crazy motherfuckers with the same ideology. It's not just one clown with a channel. The motherfucker got followers. You could have one person hating on you, but guarantee you there's a bunch of people that can't stand you. My bad, y'all. Yeah, man. It's an amazing thing. Hundreds and hundreds of people. It's not only one person. It's never only one person. All right. And it actually makes sense. It actually makes sense. But I'm gonna tell you something though. I'm gonna tell you something. Always stick to your guns. All right? Stick to your core beliefs. Y'all don't know what a core belief is. All right? A core belief is just what it sounds like. It's what you was born and raised to believe. It's what you was born and raised to believe. If you was raised in the church from the time you was a toddler all the way up to the time you're in your 30s, that's what you believe. Shout out to Jeffrey Brooks in that super chat. He said, I noticed how Sugar Hill tried to distance himself about the glove scandal by telling you that he wasn't the only person to inspect the gloves. Of course. Yeah, everyone noticed that. And you see, that right there, no one's mad at me, really. No one's really mad at me. You know what they're mad at? They are mad at they didn't get the answers that they were expecting. And actually, if I all the haters that have negative to say about me, about that interview, if I sat them down and asked them the same exact questions, they couldn't answer them. First of all, they're full of assumptions. I'm talking to a man that was actually there. And if I'm talking to the man that's actually there, we're not dealing with assumptions. We're dealing with facts. I wasn't in the locker room. We don't know what happened in the locker room because they pulled the camera. But he could tell me because he wrapped their hands. And everyone loves to say, well, JD's was there. JD's was there. But I understand that JD's didn't even feel the gloves. Now let that sink in. If JD's ain't feel the gloves, who put the gloves on? JD's ain't put the gloves on. He never touched them. He just watched the hand wraps. He ain't watched the gloves. He watched the hand wraps. Now I got a question for you. Shout out to the brother Watcher. He sent me a video because remember they tried to, just 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, they tried to say that Deontay Wilder switched his gloves. Oh, he got caught switching his gloves. What about that? But there's video, because Wilder didn't unplug his camera, there's video showing the commission taking the glove out of the wrapper and the commission touching the glove and checking the glove. The gloves that he wore. So here was my question, and everybody missed this. Did they do the same thing to Fury's gloves? You heard Devin say, if something like that happened, everyone has to be in on it. Huh? Now, people would say, why would everyone be in on it? Why would they go to those great lengths? Shout out to the Brothers UK in that super chat. He said, peace, Fannon and Drew. When the brother starts his channel, I'm going over there to drop some money and tell him it's because of the LDBC. Man, the Brothers UK supporting us forever, man. Shout out to you, man. Go ahead.
I just want to put my 2 cents in there and say, nah, man, that shit did not have to take a lot of people to do that. Not at all.
I know. Okay. I know. Yep. It didn't. But here's the thing. Did y'all heard Devin when he said it would take a lot of people, right? Y'all also heard Mauricio Suleiman say, I was in both locker rooms. Tay Jones showed phone video. He said that fat motherfucker wasn't even in our locker room. What is he talking about? You're going to believe Tay? You're going to believe Mauricio? What do I always say? Check the credibility. Has Tay lied to us? No. Has Mauricio lied to us? Yes. Has he tried to back cheaters? Yes. I ask Sugar Hill, I ask Devin, and I'll ask anybody, is there cheating in the sport of boxing? The answer is yes. Have cheaters been caught in the sport of boxing? The answer is yes. How many cheaters have the commission ever caught? Zero. All I asked is, was it reasonable to suspect that this guy cheated? Granted, his history, yes or no? The answer is yes. And if you say no, watch how I bring this full circle. If you say no, it shows me your extreme level of cognitive dissonance, because it is your core belief, for whatever reason, to hate Deontay Wilder, to back Tyson Fury, or whatever it is. You've seen the video. I've asked many fighters. That picture, that video with his glove doing this, is that normal? Yes or no? They said no. Every last one of them said no. I even had people notoriously hating Deontay Wilder. Skinny legs, he's garbage, he has no skill. Yeah. That may be true. But I'm asking you about this glove. They say, some of them have said, nah. You know what? That shit don't look normal. That shit don't look normal. You want me to break it down even simpler for some of the simpletons? The girl with the donkey. The girl with the donkey. Right?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
The girl with the donkey's mine.
Not this one. All right? The girl with the donkey with the poor hygiene. That's still yours? I hope not. The girl with the donkey with the poor hygiene. Are you going to ignore that? I hope not. Now, you could brag about how you left the club with her and whatever the hell it is, but if enough fellas know about that, what y'all gonna talk about when y'all get together? Yo, man, her body's crazy, man. She got the donkey, yo. You're like, all right, but you know that stink, right? Everybody thought they were gonna get the home place with her, man. And everybody turned away and held their nose and ran out the room because the bitch got an onion in between her legs. So when you're standing there with your peers about to talk about the donkey, what are you going to say? I held my nose and beat? I hope not. But what if it's your core beliefs that everything with a donkey, you just beat it? Your core beliefs make you beat it? Are you just going to say, yo, you know what? No, no. Forget my core beliefs. Forget my core beliefs. I got to stand for something. This is crazy. Terrorism. I could have been raised a certain way and believe in whatever religion or whatever have you. But I'm pretty sure, me being who I am, I'd have drew the line on flying planes in the building or putting a bomb on my back and blowing myself up. No. I'd be like, yeah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, but you know what? I ain't doing that. Nope, I ain't going that far. Core beliefs. If your core belief is that Tyson Fury is a good dude and that you did not see that glove flopping around, and Wilder can't fight 40 knockouts and he can't fight, if that's your core belief, you're just an asshole. You're just an asshole. That's why I don't debate people. I don't. I have an opinion and I share it. And that's the end of it. Tunnel Vision says, what if the United States killed your entire family? You won't know what you will do. I wouldn't. I know me, though. I'm not going to strap a bomb on my back and walk into a mall and blow myself up and some innocent people. How's that helping? I would much rather get close enough to the person who I thought pulled the trigger or the unit that was responsible for pulling the trigger. Killing innocent people is just as fruitless as my family in your analogy. If my family was innocent and they was blowing up, how am I getting anybody back by blowing up some innocent people? That doesn't help. I'd rather try and get close to the person that made that call. Military or somebody in Washington, something. I'd do something that would make sense. Flying a plane into a building where people went to work that morning? Stop. That's ridiculous. Cognitive dissonance. Go ahead.
Real quick, we're going to do something in the second half of the show that is going to be a much more like academic. And I just wanted to stop there because you're actually talking about things that are very close to the subject matter that we said that we were going to talk about. Mm-hmm. Like what exactly would make somebody fly into a building, right? But it's not unreasonable. The only thing is that you just have to get yourself in the frame of the mind and the understanding of the people and the belief systems of the people that do it. And right. So what I want to do after we're going to cook for a little while and I'm going to step out for a little while and let you guys, let Drew talk about this whole circumstance. Cause like I said, I'm Bennett. I ain't in it as far as that stuff with, Devin Alexander goes. But in the second half of the show, we're going to shift to something because if you guys have not noticed, we talk about boxing on the channel, but we also talk about boxing we'll talk about the business of boxing, which is slightly different than the actually in the ring. But then you'll also hear a lot of times on this channel that we'll talk about, more academic issues, world issues and things like that. But every once in a while, people will bring up conversations that touch on the religious or touch on things like that. And many people refer to it as like esoteric, or you guys might think about it like in terms of things like the boule or.
Oh, I didn't do that.
When legendary, my finger hit it. But anyway, let's rap about that. We're going to rap about that, and he's going to ask some questions of me, and you guys can ask some questions of me because I think that it'll make some of the videos and some of the things that I say a little bit more clear. And plus, it's also not fucking boring to me because a lot of times I really got to dumb myself down to talk to, you know what it is, Drew, when you got to constantly talk and re-explain the same shit to people, like what a fucking rematch clause is. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many more times do I got to explain to somebody what a rematch clause is, right? But then when people start asking questions about like what is racism and all that and what's going on, you really do have to look at stuff a little bit more deeply to understand the motivations of people, and not just to understand that, but just to understand people themselves. So like the topic of the video today that I have is about Terence Crawford and Rolly Romero. And I did a video about it yesterday. And I don't think, do you actually believe that there were people inside those planes? Yeah, absolutely. I believe that there were people in those planes. If there weren't people in the planes, then there wouldn't have been enough people to die. Trust me, they don't mind murdering people. Okay? Absolutely, I believe those people in that plane was real. But here's the thing. I'm not going to get into any particular conspiracy theory. I'm not going to get into that shit. Because that shit is just, I mean, it's fun because it's obvious. A lot of that shit is just obvious. But what is not obvious is how the world actually works. Because there's a passage in the Bible or somewhere, right? Reporting gossip. Dude, suck a dick. It ain't no fucking gossip. I sat right there with Rolly Romero and Terence Crawford sitting right next to each other. And people, after I did the video, dumbass, called me and told me, yeah, that's what happened. Because that's obviously what happened. Rolly Romero was sitting there trying to make Terence Crawford look bad by saying that he was arguing over $40, $20 that he hustled from a guy in Nebraska. Let me get into this.
All right. Well, real quick, shout out to John Pays in that super chat. What's up, Fannon, big bro? What's going on, family? Batman in the building. Go ahead, bro.
Look, man, by far the worst channel of all boxing YouTubers. Shake my hot head. What the fuck are you talking about, Fannon? Well, let me tell you what the fuck I'm talking about. I am not the worst YouTube channel at all. And I'll prove it. Want me to prove that I'm not the worst YouTube channel ever? Who the fuck other than name them? Name them. Somebody that is a boxing channel that can talk about metaphysics for 5 hours and have 600 people listen the whole fucking time. How am I the worst? That means everybody should be able to do that, right? Fuck out my face. I'm interested in talking to my supporters. And I'm interested in talking about what they want to talk about. And I'm interested in talking about what I think they need to know. We talk about noobs. We talk about gangs. We talk about respect. We talk about who's black, who's white, money, politics. We talk all about that, but y'all don't even understand what the fuck is going on, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people. You don't know what's going on because you're not supposed to know what's going on. Because you're not trustworthy with information. That's why they don't give it to you. You're not trustworthy with it. That's why you think of the world like a child. Because you think childhood is purely physical. It's not. You can be old in age and infantile, ethically, morally, spiritually. You will be less developed than other people who are younger than you physically, because they are not younger than you in non-actuality. But you don't understand that because you don't understand what life means. You believe that are people that locked you up in chains and gave you a book that you can't read and then put you in schools that were meant to make you normal are telling you the truth. And my life has been stuck with a bunch of fucking dummies that I'm trying to tell you, dog, that shit ain't true. I don't care how many times they tell you that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You do not discover something where people already were. And you keep telling me you're finding artifacts and relics all over the fucking place. Nigga, please. That's just shit people burn down. And you're trying to explain to everybody why it's here. It's here because there were people here. Deerfield is called Deerfield because it was always called Deerfield. Chicago was always called Chicago. You think that there's a bunch of Europeans going to come here and name cities Milwaukee, fuck out of my face. You're just educated to about the 7th grade or 10th grade. You've never elevated to the 19th grade, the 20th grade, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd grade. They're just grades. Education is grades. You go through 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th to 12th to 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. And when you get to around your 19th degree, you now are a PhD. You become a doctorate. And they put your robes on you. And they put your caps on you. And you are now an initiate in the order. Because you are not a 33rd degree Mason. You are a 20th degree. Don't you understand that degrees and grades are the same thing? You are already an initiate in the system that you think are the boule and this and that. The system gives you a number, gives you a name, gives you a state of being, a race, an existence. And the people with the caps and gowns are the ones that give it to you. The ones with doctorates of philosophy. You don't understand where you are. You don't understand where you're going. And you should endeavor to understand so you can stop fearing death so much. It's a cocoon. This is a cocoon. A cocoon. That's all this is a cocoon. This cocoon is no different than any other cocoon. Hence the symbology of the butterfly. This is the cocoon. You will leave this cocoon. Stop. Look around. There's nothing that man has ever created that is anything more than a dime store imitation of what is in nature right before you, and that is the magic. That is the imagination. There is IQ, then there is imagination. Logic is to the material world with imagination. Magic, imagination, the magi, what we have in song and dance and all of those things is the beauty of life that comes through nature and not being taught. There is almost no proof of this concept of death anywhere other than in the book that they gave to you as a slave. And that's it. So when they talk of the fish and the hook, dude, you have to become better educated. That's all I'm saying. This is not mysticism. This is just education. This is just reading books that they don't sit in front of your face. And then you read them all, then you sit around for about 10 years and you think about them. Because it's not possible to read a book today and understand it tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. You cannot read. I have to read books 6 times. I'm telling you, to understand them. 6 times. If I don't read a book 6 times, I don't understand it, truly. So you cannot tell me that you look at the cover of a book and you can judge it. Because you don't, and people talk about, you just don't understand what you're seeing. And that's no problem. But it's okay to educate yourself. And you do not need a school to do it. And what I saw with Terence Crawford was this. I saw a man that was initiated into some order. I don't know what it is. Is he a vice lord? I don't know if he is. I don't know where he is. Maybe it's just Southside something. Whatever they got, it's a group of people that work together, that believe in one common, like Drew said, one common set of principles. And he understood what was going to happen if Rolly Romero violated that man. You think it's just gossip. It's not gossip. You want to know why Biggie got shot. What happened? We can't find it. We can't figure it out. Man, it ain't that hard to figure out, homie. It ain't rocket science. Okay? So all I'm saying, when I gave that man credit for that, I'm giving that man credit because I know I've seen yellow tape before. Have you seen yellow tape before, dog?
Absolutely.
Rolly said it was on ESPN that it wasn't that serious because he's not that smart. And he got away. If you steal $20 from a wrong guy, you might not get away. Do you remember? Explain to me, Drew. Have you ever heard about when people compare Errol Spence car accident to Terence Crawford? Do you remember do you remember what happened to Terence Crawford where it was like a grievous injury that he could have suffered? He was in a life-threatening situation. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
He got shot. Remember where he said he was leaving a crap game. He was leaving somewhere where they were gambling. Somebody got mad where they were gambling. He got into the car and the gunshot went through the window and it grazed off the back of his head.
I said, yeah, I remember that.
So let me ask you a question. Do you know what that most likely was? Somebody hustled somebody during gambling. They lost money, and look, it can happen like this. You can say, nah, man, make me or break me. Motherfucker, make me or break me. You ain't about to just hit this shit 3 times, leaving my $300, dog. No, I got $400 more in my hand. You gonna take this $400 out of my hand, or we gonna get right. You ain't because that money's serious. Mm-hmm. Because that money is serious. It's only $20. Dog, do you know what somebody will do for $20? Do you know people eat 4 days off $20? 4 days. A bag of rice, some fucking potatoes, some ramen, 4 days. I can eat 4 days off that. That's nothing to you. That's a lot of money to somebody else. No, dude, that's not a little thing, man. But if you think it's a little thing, go do it again. Go do it again. I invite you to go. What's the north side of Omaha? I always forget the sides of Omaha. I think it's the north side. I think the blacks live on the north side of Omaha. I'm missing it. Huh?
I never been there. I wouldn't know.
It's the north. I think it's the north. North side. It's segregated. Like there are Mexicans on one side, blacks on. I think blacks are on the north side. But look, man, let me tell you, man. No, do not do that at home. Do not do that. And see, that's the thing that they don't get in the UK about Tyson Fury. Dude, you can't. People lost money, man. People lost money. A lot of money behind that, man. Don't sit there and be like, oh, just chill, so what? Nah. That's what they always say. You take a bunch of money from people and then tell it, oh, it's your no. And it's not that. The next guy's gonna sucker me. Yep. Like I'm a gambler. Dude, no, I gotta kill you, dog. Because this dude over here is gonna take my money tomorrow because he's know I'm a punk. You gotta go. And guess what? Here's something else you guys might not realize. You guys may not appreciate this. But dude, I'm a member of, I'm not a street gang member. I'm a member of a college fraternity. And trust me, when you have 30 men at your disposal who are your boys, and they all have canes, and somebody does something funny, just because you walked away that day and nothing happened, doesn't mean that when you are walking around your class the next Friday, that you ain't gonna get a stomping that you ain't never seen before. And niggas is going to be gone before anybody sees it, and there won't be nothing but blood on the pavement. Because you put your hands on that nigga's sister again, we told you. You put your hands on that girl again. That's my boy's sister. You think he ever put the motherfucking hands on her again? When his ass walked out that damn class and got thumped? No. He never touched her again. He got his little overexcited ass straight. And that's just real. People ain't playing with their sisters. People ain't playing with their cousins. People ain't playing with their money. But you just think it's okay to be disrespectful. No, man. And Terence Crawford, he went to you. Hey, man, can you get a guy the money and you ball up money and throw it in his face? First of all, you acting like Terence can't punch you in the face right there. So you know he's not going to punch you in the face because that shit's going to make the news.
Yep.
Because he bust you in your face right there, dude. No worries. No worries. That shit could go down right there, dog. And then I'm telling you, those dudes didn't mind. And guess where they're from? Guess what? You're in Dallas, homeboy. You're in Dallas. You're not in Omaha. You ain't wherever you live. You in Dallas. Where these dudes can leave town in a minute. Because didn't nobody know where they were there to begin with. Are you fucking crazy? That's what I'm thinking. Are you crazy? I was in New York. Hey, check this out, Drew. Hey, check this out, Drew. I was in New York, right? I think we was in the Bronx. Okay? I think we were in the Bronx at some club. And my boy, I don't know the name. You know, New York, it's like you got clubs everywhere. Like popping out of sides of buildings you ain't never seen before, right? So anyway, we was there, right? Kicking it. It might have been I don't think it was in Manhattan, but it was a neighborhoody type of thing. But regardless, we was there. And my boy, who I was in law school with, is a big dude from Ohio, who is very loud and very violent, loves to fight. And he was cussing out this porter in the place. And I was like, and I noticed two porters over there, not porters, you know, the guys are serving shit. And I noticed that the dude over there turned around and started looking. This dude turned around and started looking. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Dude, we was driving around, dog. I told this dude to let me out the car. Why? I said, no, let me out the car, dog. Because you're going to fuck around and get me killed. I know these dudes is looking. They're going to be like, yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. Let's holler. Come over here. And you're going to get stomped the fuck out if you lucky. No. So I just thought that Raleigh was very safe. It was very nice. Very, very nice of him not to do that, dog. Because those guys don't play, man. Nobody plays, man. How many people play in New York like that? What's that thing? What are they saying in Friday? What was that line from Friday?
Which one?
The line where there was like, he's like, man, Big Worm just playing. He's like, man, his money, who you know play about his money? And that was like, how much was it? $200?
Yeah, it was an insignificant amount
of money.
But $200 is $200. Yeah, you ain't gonna walk past it on the street if you see it laying on the floor.
Hell no. And if they see it on the floor, and you pick that shit up and it's their money, dog, you be smart to hand that shit back, homie. You be real smart to hand that shit back. But that's okay. You guys don't want to respect people because you think you can punch them in the face. As if soon as they know that you will punch them in the face, they're gonna do something. They're just gonna do something else. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to do something else. Exactly like AC said. You're just going to be standing there, and all of a sudden you're the bubble gum and a car drives back. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
You know what they call them in D.C., right?
Nah.
These dudes scared the shit out of me in D.C. They used to call these niggas jump out boys. Jump out boys. Nah, dog. They like that, dog. They liked it. You think these dudes don't like killing people? I think they like it.
No, they do. I did my share bouncing at clubs, and it was never a problem getting people out. What you had to worry about was 3 a.m. when you're trying to close up. Ladies are tipping out at the bar. You're trying to lock those doors. Those niggas will come back and they will Swiss cheese the whole building up with guns that are not even supposed to be on the street. All right, that shit is dangerous. Very dangerous, man.
And let me tell you this is connected to that other talk, man. You should know that. You should know that. Because all you got to do is think, what would I do? If you put me in a corner and I have nowhere else to go, I am going to preserve myself. However, so think this. Mm-hmm. You just disrespected me and took my money. It's no big deal. I let you go. But Drew's over there. Drew ain't going to let it slide. And I'll tell you a true story. I was in law school, had a really good friend. I used to smoke a ton of weed. And he used to sell it to me. It was my homeboy. Used to sell it to me. Every time I smoke some weed, get to my boy's house, we sit there, him, my boy, him, a couple of his boys, we'd all play video games, right? Did it for a year, a couple of years. Got out of law school. He's still there. And I hear, comes to visit me in Chicago, we kick it. 3 weeks later, he's dead. How did he die? He died because he let somebody in there play a video game and they strangled him and they took all his money and all his weed. And they left town. Because this dummy, and God, I respect you and miss you so much. And you know what this girl told me? He's like, man, she don't know the game. He don't know the game. It's like, man, he don't know the game. You don't do that. My ex-girlfriend. Because, you know, her daddy. It's like, nah, she don't know the game. You don't know the game. You don't do that. You don't shit when you sleep. The fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? That's a business. So, no, not gonna do it. Also, I can't say this guy's name, but back in 18, what is it? Y'all know, if you're from Chicago, do you know where Maywood is? Maywood, Illinois. There used to be this dude, like I told y'all about them yellow dudes, was just like real light-skinned dude, couple real light-skinned dudes, curly hair, didn't need curls, but real curly hair from Maywood, Illinois. Never will say their names. They were the livest shit anywhere around, dog. These dudes had all the chicks, all that shit, right? I'm 15, they're 17. This one nigga dead maybe 6 months later. Why is he dead? Because he's a pretty light-skinned dude, I do believe. Because he's a pretty light-skinned dude slinging weed. And banging all the chicks in the world and living super high life. Gone. Okay? Would you like me to tell you of other people gone? I had a friend, and you think it because you guys just think. You just think this shit is just in the hood. I'm in college. I have this huge crush on this chick from Chicago. Fucking fine as shit. She thinks I'm a big ass fucking nerd, but dude, I swear. She was from Chicago, and I think her family's from the South Side, and they were big in Chicago. And man, I was just like, this chick is fucking, dead 6 weeks into school. Why is she dead 6 weeks into school? Because she's dealing with a dope dealer in Dallas, kicking it with a dope dealer, living high life, car burnt up. Found burnt up on the side of a road. Okay? Death is all around you. It's all around you. Please be cautious with your respect of people in their space and of logic. I do not want to see Rolly Romero laid out after the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Because guess what? You think it's silly? When did Tupac die?
The man wasn't even 30 yet, man.
No. When? What was he doing? Where was he coming from when he died?
An award show.
I thought he died from the Mike Tyson fight.
Oh, I was after the Mike Tyson fight. My bad.
He was at the Mike Tyson fight. He got murdered after the Mike Tyson fight. You think I'm wearing some jewels and diamonds and bouncing around, y'all? You gotta be nuts. Them is killers. For real. For real. Not fake. For real. This dude, BF, and let me tell you who these people are. You need to grow up. Y'all keep thinking you're gonna walk up on BFTB. I swear to God, do not do that. I swear to God, do not do that ever in your life. If you are tempted to do it, stop immediately and rethink your existence and whether you like it or not. Because Vets don't play.
They'll get away with it.
Oh, dude, my cousin, let me tell you what my cousin did. My cousin lived in one state. Mother lived in another. My Aunt Juanita, my Aunt Juanita has a son. I'm not going to say his name, right? Woo, don't fuck with this nigga. Never. I don't fuck with this dude. Never. Love him from a distance. Because he's way smarter than me, and he is way, way fucking crazier. Swear to God. Off Zoonie Zoon. So, brilliant, though. Brilliant. But, whoa. Like, you need to tone that back a little bit, homie. So, anyway, needless to say, guys like that have a concept of death that you don't have. They don't give a fuck about putting you there. So, he was somewhere. Somebody said something to my Juanita. Boop! Nigga get in the car. Pop, pop. Gone. Get back in the car. Go back. Come to his house. Put him back in the hospital. Put him back in the hospital. Back where he came from. The hospital. Okay? Mm-hmm. Do not think that there are not people that will separate you from reality. And it's only, I just think it's people that have not seen a lot of it. Right?
No,
you've
I
not
agree.
seen, you must not have experienced a lot of people leave. I've experienced a lot of people leave. Drugs, I ain't doing nothing stronger than weed. I'm sorry, never. Because I saw my boy leave in a manner I never want to leave. I do not want to die like that. I just want to fall asleep. Just let me fall asleep. Don't want to die like that. Not with nothing working but your perception. No. There's good ways to die because there's bad ways to die. But we're all going to do it. It's a destination. It's a destination. It's not even anything you can avoid. What is there in life that you can't avoid that wound up being bad? You couldn't avoid birth. Wasn't bad. You can't avoid cycles. They're not bad. They're the vehicle of birth. You can't. It's just what it is. It's part of that whole natural thing. However, I wouldn't go around ending it because you don't know what the purpose of it is. Ending it for you or ending it for anybody else. But see, here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to say. And this is, we're going to get back to the more of the boxing. But if you understand, this is my understanding of what life is. And I'm just going to tell you what I think it is and why I think what I believe it means when they say do unto others as you would do unto yourself. You've heard that golden rule before?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What if I could tell you that you are me?
Explain.
If the soul exists within your body, right? Then me and you are separate. Because you have a soul of which your body was grown. I have a soul from which my body was grown. That is what you call, that is a theory of philosophy that says this, that we are independent spiritual beings living in a world of material things. That's existentialism. And it is a core idiotic principle that a lot of people live by. But it is fucking stupid. That is not what it is. We exist within our soul. One soul. And we manifest because of it. When it manifests, we are then individuals. Think of it as a spike leaving a circle in symbology. Look at the sun, right? The center of the sun. That's why they use symbology, right? So if you'll never see this, but let's use this. This is green now. It's green will actually kind of work. So see this? Mm-hmm. Imagine that this is the soul. This is nothingness. This is non-existence. And the spikes that leave our existence. That's why they say that there's two suns in the sky. Because existence is non-existence and existence. Existence is what you perceive. It's the actual experience. Your life is within the blackness. So you are created from your soul. I could cut your head off and it wouldn't do anything to your soul. All you would do is die, and then a new manifestation of that spirit will emerge. But it will be consciousness. And consciousness is just consciousness. Like water is water. Every water that you pour into every glass is just the same water. Every bit of consciousness that is poured into every individual is just consciousness, which is why the philosophy behind reading minds. How could that actually work? Where there could be mediums that could go into your mind. If you think that your mind exists within your brain, that's impossible. But if you think that your brain exists within your mind, then it's very easy. Because all I am is a different entrance into a database. See, information technology is built off of people's understanding of reality. It's not some creation that they just invented. It's a knockoff of what they understand reality to be. So in the client server technology or in cloud technology, which allows us to talk to more people, they keep all of the information in one place, don't they? And then you access it. It's called a database, and it's called a relational database. What word sounds like relational? Reality. But you have to then take all of these pieces of random information, and then when you ask a specific question, it brings from all of that information the information that you need to answer your question. If that works in a computer system, then that has to work in nature, because you cannot create something that is not within nature. That's the macrocosm and the microcosm. So what they're doing by creating the information system is that they are creating a macrocosm of your physical microcosm. It has input and output devices, type, right? Camera, right? Talk, see. There's literally nothing different. It's all based off human physiology, which is why the Dogon can see stars within their own body, because they're not looking out, they're looking in. There's sideways sight too. You can through what do you call it? Empathy. If you can empathize with someone, this is what empathy is. And this is how people read people's minds in what they call black magic, which I just study, right? Because I was in New Orleans and very interested in Marie Laveau. I wanted to know how she did it. Why do they say Marie Laveau could do all this? So they got books all over Louisiana where they will tell you in very long, unnecessary, blah, 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 what it is. So, and then I told you before, that's once you understand that, then you will say, oh, okay, what are my memories then? See, I try to give you guys this shit, but it's hard to understand, so you got to give it in pieces. Is time real? If time is not real, and time is not necessarily real, because there are physicists that argue about how you can prove that it is, right? These are all theories. Every theory that they have, the Big Bang, quantum theories, they're all theories. All they are is what you're thinking. They can't prove any of this shit. None of it. They can't prove the Big Bang. How can you prove that through observation? You can't. They're using logic, right? But here's the problem. And where certain people would say that they have problems, because you can't use your imagination. Imagination is real. It is a way that you grab a bunch of desperate information, ball it up into one thing, and then make it usable. But you have to understand that if a computer does it, it's based off your body. If you can talk, if a computer can talk without wires, so can you. Any advancement that you see, I'm telling you, from the wheel. Why did they have a wheel? Because they saw a rock rolling down. They saw that shit rolling down a hill. Oh, we'll make it round. We'll roll it down the hill. Why do they call it horsepower? Because we found a way to burn up the earth to make it be as powerful as a horse. But horses don't kill it. Horses don't kill the world. You know what I mean? It's a fucking poor knockoff. And what you see now is a reversion. Because you think, if you misunderstand, I won't get into it. It came from something else. It always does. So here's your thoughts come from something else. Your thoughts come from something else. But that's why I say, like, they make you very afraid of death. They make you very, very afraid of death. Like, you don't want to see your parents die. You don't want to die, and you'll do anything not to die. Anything. I'll sell my soul. I'll treat my children. But why? Because you think you're going to go nowhere. You think that you're not going to be here still. Dude, you're just all you are is a branch off of a tree. If the tree don't die, the branch is going to grow. No leaf is going to fall and wonder whether or not it's going to regrow. Every season, it grows the same fucking leaf from the same spot. Every time. So why would you see this in nature and not think that we are? That's why I keep telling you, you're an animal. You are part of nature. Nothing. You do not exist outside of nature. So there's nothing in nature that does not apply to you. And all of the things that they're learning is from you. Because there's nothing that you see or could possibly perceive that you don't perceive within yourself. Yeah, see, talk to yourself. There's no sound coming out because language is natural. But it comes from nothingness. Here's the Big Bang. All right, I'll explain it to you because they tell you this, but they tell you it in the Big Bang. Okay? Singularity. Isn't that the story that
you muted yourself?
How did we get here? How did we get here? How did life begin? Have you been told?
Several things. I think this is the conversation: which came first, the chicken or the egg? We came from monkeys.
No. Not for human beings.
Oh,
I mean for everything.
Everything?
How did existence begin? I'll tell you what they say. The Big Bang, right? Mm-hmm. The Big Bang says that something came from nothing. It was just nothing, and all of a sudden there was something. In other words, they have no fucking clue. They just know that at some point in time, there was nothing, and now there's something. That's what they say. So, what is the nothing? Everything should be concerned with what is the nothing. No thing. What is no thing? Have you ever been knocked out? Completely knocked out with like amnesia? Not with like medicine for surgery?
Oh, for surgery? Yeah.
You're gone, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything?
No. I remember the room melting and then waking up 6 hours later.
That's it. They just took you deeper. They just took you deeper. If they would have took you any deeper, you would have died. See the difference between sleeping? When they take you a little too deep so you can't feel any connection to your body. Mm-hmm. And then if you go any further than that, you die. How do you observe nothing? You can't observe nothing, and honestly, you can't even, the problem with observation is that you're always affecting the subject. That's the problem with everything being like, I'm not going to believe anything unless I see it. Here's the problem. You're the one seeing it. And since you're seeing it, all of your preconceived notions, all of your biases, all of your stuff is right there, and you're going to put it in it. The observer and the observed become one instantaneously because they were always one because something came from nothing. Because it all came from the same place. There is no separation between things. There's only perception, and we participate in it. And I'm not going to tell you what I believe. I'm going to tell you what they believe. Not me. I'm telling you what they believe. They believe that it's just one soul. That's it. And that's it. They don't believe in death. They believe in death in a means by which to control how you live your day-to-day life. Because you know if you don't do this, then what is going to happen? I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. Oh, all black people, they'll just kill us all. Every time they say that, I'm like, no, they will not. You cannot kill things. You cannot get anywhere near non-existence. You can't. All you can do is kill the body. That's it. That's like saying you're going to get rid of the earth. How are you going to be so powerful that you blow up the earth and the universe? Because everything that we consider to be reality is within ourselves and is subject and subservient to nothingness. So how can any form of death or punishment by them truly affect us? It can't. They could rip you through everybody and it wouldn't affect us. All it would mean is we have to grow again, which is why they're not interested in that. They're interested in the control. It's the control. And you think all of the different things that you're educated to do are meant to make you predictable and consistently predictable. It is just like a computer program because the computer program is designed off of reality and it is a microcosmic of it. The World Wide Web is a microcosmic process. It's a microcosmic entity meant to operate like reality, where you and I can talk on a real-time basis. If you would have said this 15 years ago, you would have thought it was completely impossible. No, maybe 100 years ago, except for no, they didn't think it. They were just trying to figure out how to reinvent it because it was already here. It had to be because nothing is ever created, because everything comes from nothingness. But you have to understand these things. You have to understand the nature of existence. And nobody teaches that. Nobody talks about that. It's where the bang is. It's between the bang and the blackness. What am I? What am I if there is no separation between things? Is a question that you should ask yourself when you think that you can hide. You can't, because there are ways to empathize with people so much that you can imagine every variation of every possible move that you could make. That's how you read somebody's mind. You empathize with them so intensely with emotions of love and anger and hate that put your imagination into a whirl, and you do it until you see it 6, 7 different ways. And if it gets consistent and you see the similarities, boom, that's what he's going to do. He's not going to fight Gary Russell Jr. That is what they teach you. That's why Marie Laveau could do that. The lady that they revere so much in New Orleans, that people walk by and kiss her grave. Go find an initiate of the arts and tell me, because I'm not an initiate. I can just tell you what I read. I'm telling you what they believe. I'm telling you what they mean. I'm just telling you what they mean, what they're saying that they believe. Whether it's true or not, it can't be true. But no, it's not true. Of course it's not true. It can't be. The human mind cannot grasp these things. The human mind can't grasp non-existence. The best thing we can do is lean ourselves to it and understand that we are nothing but a portal from it to it, within it. And that nothing changes, nothing moves, it just takes different form. We are nothing but the same monkeys living in huts, just nice ones with diamonds. And don't lunch on them damn diamonds either, homeboy. That's a fucking amulet, just to let you know. You want to know why I don't put them shits on me? Can I tell you, Drew?
Go ahead. You don't wear no... But you're on mute. You're on mute. All right.
Am I better now?
Yeah.
Okay, because when I was in New Orleans, I got to talk quiet because I don't want my wife to hear this shit. When I was in New Orleans, I used to fuck with witches, like them chicks that were like Santeria, you know, like the ones from, what do you call them, religions?
They're Latino religions.
Yeah, I can't know. There are several of them, but there's a bunch. There's Rosicrucians. There's a bunch of people because they get attracted to New Orleans because of all the myth and all that stuff, right? Because they want to immediately go, hey, man, where's Marie Laveau's shop? Where's Marie Laveau's? You know what I mean? That's what they do in New Orleans. They'll be like, can you show me where you'll have some badass chick from New York, right? Like a Dominican chick from New York will come up and be like, hey, yo, can you show me where Marie Laveau's where is it? I'm sorry, the casket, not the casket, the headstone.
The grave, yeah.
You know, where the grave is. Will you take me by the grave? Will you take me down to the voodoo shop? Will you do that? So what I would do is, because, you know, I like pussy, I would be like, hell yeah, I'll show you what that shit is. I was like, hell yeah, I'll tell you what that shit is. So I would go down there. They would be going through the bookstore and shit. So I'd have to read the books. I'd be like, oh, what's this? She'd be like, this is bullshit. That's bullshit. You know, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I don't know. Fuck. But then they get the book, right? So a couple times they left the books. They would just leave it, you know. And there was this one book. I'm telling you, it was crazy. Because people, you're not supposed to go there if you're a Christian. So, like, I would do shit like that in New Orleans. Like, if you go in there and you a Christian, dog, you know why they want to get you if you go in there?
You're going to burst into flames.
No, because they believe it. Because they believe every word of it. That's the thing. The ones that don't want you to do it is because they really, really believe it. So they're like, oh, no, I don't want to hear Harry Potter because I really, really believe it. They really believe it, but they don't attempt to understand it, right? My man said voodoo is beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But they call that black magic. But why do they call it black magic? You know why they call it black magic? And it's just logic and emotion and that's, at least that's what I see. The people that are really, really into it might tell you something else. Like they might tell you something else. You're not lying at all. A lot of the sisters voodoo. Yeah. Man, they put that shit in your blood. Man, I've been doped. I got doped by one and I was like, fuck is wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I kept falling asleep for like 2 straight days, dog. Like, I would wake up and I would fall asleep. I would wake up and I would fall asleep. And I'm like, I just don't understand why. Years later, I'm like, I think she was slipping some shit to me or something, man. Like, but so you just can't like, and they like, cause they used to tell you when you go down there, they'd be like, hey man, make sure you don't eat nothing red. Like, don't eat nothing red around. So, but I didn't care. They were like, don't eat nothing red. Shit, give me the shit that's red. Know why they say don't eat nothing red?
Why?
Because the most powerful fluid that there is in the world is women's menstrual cycle. They will put that shit in your food. Oh, hold on, dog. You tripping. They'll put that shit in your shit. And you know what'll happen? Hey, you know what'll happen though? Don't fake. Y'all eat chitlins. That's shit. Y'all eat chitlins. That's straight shit. So I don't want to hear that. That ain't nothing but shit, and y'all eat that. They ain't ready. Hey, but you know what happens? You know what it's for? You know what'll happen? Dog, for real, you know what'll happen?
What?
You will never forget that bitch in your life. You will never forget her, dude. Ever.
I'm trying to kill her for the rest of my life.
Let me tell you, know what the science is behind it? This is the science. You will never forget her. She's going to have a connection with you for the rest of your shit. And on top of it, dog, she's in every part of your body after you eat that.
This is my ghost face, killer face. Nah, son.
You love her for life. Hey, look. You love her for life.
Chill. I'll be looking to catch a case. I'll be like, you put what in my chili?
Shit, you ain't gonna catch no case. You know what you gonna catch? No. You know what you gonna catch?
What?
About 30
Herpes?
pounds of pussy that night. You gonna catch about 30 pounds of pussy that night. That's what you gonna motherfucking get. You gonna get a shitload of pussy for about 3 fucking days, dog. And you gonna be gooding up and going down. You gonna be waking up and going to sleep. You gonna be waking up.
I'm good with adapting conversation. Oh God.
Woo.
I need to know where these chicks
Dog,
are. So
look,
I can fucking
all
avoid
you
them.
basketball. Hey, let me tell you, all y'all this. And y'all think that's nasty. Let me tell you who got. I'm gonna tell who got all of y'all. I'm gonna tell you who got with that shit too. I know the dudes that got with that shit. Y'all got with that shit. You don't even know. You don't even know. Dog, you be like, I love my baby. She cooked for me. I know she do cook for you. Because when she cooks for you, all that shit is in your body, homeboy. And you don't know over the time, if she's putting all the food in your body, everything you eat, and she knows how to talk to you nice, dude, let me tell you some magic, dog, out there that this Puerto Rican chick tried to run on me. I was like, in New York, because I know, man, get the fuck up out of here. Y'all think you slick. So I was talking to her, dog. I'm telling you. Blood and feces. Oh, dog, for real, don't give me none of that shit. I don't want to know. Okay? They trying to make you sponge. I'm trying to tell you, dog. You think they don't do that shit in New York? You're fucking nuts. Because this chick in New York did me like this. She was like, hey, man, I really like your mustache. I like that way that gray and all that stuff is coming in your beard and all that. And I was like, you trying to get me, ain't you? She giggled. Because, dude, I'm like, they're different in New York. But they're not really different in New York. The voodoo chicks that were fucking around and they came from New York. So I'm like, oh, okay, y'all are into that. Are they into that in the Dominican areas and the Jamaican areas and all that?
Washington Heights.
Hell yeah, dog. You better be careful. And they're not. And guess what? That shit works. That shit works, dog. Just like that garlic. Like this dude told me. See, they would call this shit witchcraft. They would call this shit. Listen to what this dude told me on YouTube. He was like, I was like, man, I got high blood pressure, right? And he was like, man, don't take no high blood pressure pills. Get you some garlic and get you some acetylene, you know, the type with the acetylene, the aged garlic. Yo, this is too much probably. I was trying to help my heart. I helped my youth. Because I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I was like, I was 23 again. Because this dude told me about to crush. Basically, what you do is you take the garlic, you crush it, you screw, you know what I mean? Then you age it and separate this particular thing from that particular thing. So, and then if you do that, that will help you with your sex life. It will help you with your blood pressure, right? Now, have you ever actually looked at the seals of major pharmaceutical companies?
No.
You should look at it. You should look at Procter & Gamble's specifically. Look at their logo. If you look at that logo and understand that logo, that is nothing other than mass producing what we're talking about. And I'll prove it like this. I was golfing with a guy that worked for a pharmaceutical company. And I was like, what are you selling? What do you sell? He's like, we got this new miracle drug that is going to help with XYZ. And then he laughed. He's like, you know what it really is? He's like, what is it? He's like, it's really just crushed up rat liver. It's just crushed up rat liver. It's like they found out that this was cured in Russia by getting rats, cutting out their liver, dry freezing and crushing their liver, and then they give it and they put it in food. So what this massive pharmaceutical company did was they just went and took, which was just a home remedy, right? Home remedy that works for probably hundreds of thousands of years, and they snatched it And now they're selling it for ridiculous prices. And then they will call the woman that invented it a witch and run her out of business. There ain't any difference between this type of conversation and with the conversation that we have in other areas of business, like Black Wall Street. When Black Wall Street was blown up, that shit was about money. When the Salem witches were burned, that shit more than likely was about money. Like, no, you're not going to be solving these Indian people's problems with all of this medicine. Get the fuck out of here. You're dying. They got to die, so are you. And we're selling our medicine, not yours. We have a apothecary, and we're opening it. And you're not going to be doing that. Just like you're not going to be having weed in your backyard selling it. Okay, yes, you could really, really help a lot of people if you could grow garlic and age garlic and sell that to people around you. See, it's the idea that we have to be, do you know who Ted Kaczynski is?
No.
See, me even mentioning his name is dangerous on this channel. He's the Unabomber. You should read what he wrote.
Oh, now
the
you
Unabomber.
said Unabomber, yeah.
He's the Unabomber. You should read what he wrote. Read what he wrote. You know who the Unabomber is? A Trump supporter.
Yeah.
He has the same logic as the Trump supporters. However, people don't ever listen to what the Trump supporters are actually saying. You guys, that mean they really never listen. Because I think all of them are bullshit because we're stuck down on that politics level. But the people above that, you think they really care about politics? Like anybody that thinks the way that I just said, that in India, if anybody's listening in India, because usually people are listening in India, what is the highest order of the Hindu religion? I do believe they're called Brahma. They're the highest revered people in India. I do believe it's called the Brahma. Somebody else can correct me. Whatever the top one is, that's what that's what they are. Do you know what they are? They are priests. They sit above the rich people. Y'all don't even understand that about society. You think the Brahmin, thank you. You think the most powerful people in the world are the ones with the most money. It's not true. The most powerful people in the world are the ones with the religion. And you just have to figure out what religion you talking about. And religion, not in some praising of God, religion in some dedicated fashion that they operate their day in every day. Donating to piss my haters off. That's what's up. Piss them off. Because you know they don't like it. Kamala is Brahmin, Indian, not black. She's black. She is black, is what she is. And you don't have a say-so in that. Just what it is. You don't have a say-so in that. And I don't think she is because she's female. I don't know if they have. I thought that shit was sexist. But regardless, you know, the priests are the ones that are the highest order in any society. In the United States, I'm not even going to say what their name is, but they are the only people that scare the shit out of me for real, because they crazy as the letter Z. Woo-wee. Anyway, man, sorry, man. Did I lose you?
No. Listen, man. I don't know what I don't know. And when I'm learning something, the correct thing to do is just shut the fuck up and listen.
Dog, I wanted to tell, thanks, man, because I just wanted to talk about this shit because everybody's like, man, will you do your Patreon, I'm like, fuck. First of all, if I'm going to talk about it, dog, I want to talk about it. I love talking about it. Deep state is not, I'm telling you, that shit is all beyond, the reality of it is what's here, man, because you are trained to do things. You have to wonder who it is that's not trained. There has to be a group of people that literally are not trained. Everybody else fits into silos. You are a producer, you are an athlete, you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, you are a this, you are that, you are this, or you are that. At the top, it has to get more general. So somebody has to be the one that addresses that issue. Why are we here at all? And what does it mean?
Yeah,
and
all of this.
Hey, look at what the ruler tube said. Scare the shit out of me. Like dude, you can't believe nothing. That shit for real. And I don't even like fucking around because that really is some serious shit right there, dog. You know what I mean? Are there a lot of trolls? I don't even see them.
You know, all of these things are familiar to me. My mom is an Eastern Star.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of this is very familiar. I've heard these conversations, but I never really got involved because it's a level of thought that you have to be prepared for. And when you engage in conversations like this, a lot of times people have to deprogram what they've learned all their life. Sometimes.
Well, first things first. Most black people, I'll tell you, this is my thought on it. It literally can drive you crazy. So first of all, like, it's such a shift in people's perception of reality that, like, for example, I guarantee you 90% of the people here, if not 100%, believe that their soul is in their body. They just keep thinking. They say it over and over. And I'm like, it's not. What are you talking about? You fundamentally do not understand this concept. And I understand why, because in books, they flip it because they don't want you to understand. So, for example, there's this book called Harry Potter. Have you ever heard, like, people laugh about that shit? Mm-hmm. Dog, if you ain't read Harry Potter, dog, leave me the fuck alone. Okay? Read that motherfucking 7-book series. Read it. You think it is a child's book. It is not. Okay? It is not a child's book. And if you really understand what I just told you and you read that book, then you will understand a lot more, and you will also understand and catch Eddie Hearn saying things like fish and hook. Right? Like, this dude said fish and hook one time in the same sentence. I was like, dog, look, you're showing your feathers, bro. You're showing your feathers. Or the feathers of those around you. Because that was super wasp. You know what a wasp is?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay, so let's play a game. This will be fun. You say the soul isn't within the human. The human is within the soul. Exactly. And why? And how do you know that that's true? I can prove that that is true. Drew.
Yeah.
Did you just understand what I just said?
Just now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there any other animal on the face of this earth that will understand you like I understand you?
Not that I know of, word for word. Not that I know of, other than another human.
I mean, like that they actually see the world like you see the world.
No,
none of them, because they are not because they are further away from you.
Right.
We are however, see, there's attempting to phrase it in any particular way is always going to be bad, because you're taking something that doesn't exist and trying to make it exist so people can understand through what exists, what doesn't exist. It's like trying to explain the blackness. How do you explain midnight? And the fact that although you can't see anything, everything is there. If you walked outside and there was no light on you, everything exists, but you can't see it. So when you sleep at night and you go into the blackness, everything around you still exists, but you are completely separated from it. You go to the blackness. You go within yourself. But it's not there is no within or without. You can almost say that you go this way. Which is why people say that they can see their body, right? You'll be like, I'm going crazy. I woke up last night and I could see my body in my dream. It was like I was floating over my head. People say they've done that. They've had out-of-body experiences. How can you have an out-of-body experience when your body exists within it? It's not out-of-body. There is no such thing as out-of-body. Even the sounds are not out-of-body. Everything that you perceive is within body. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why they try to hit you with those questions. Well, if there was no sound, did it make sound? It did now that you asked me that question. Watch. This is how I ask it. It did now that you asked me that question, because you made me visualize it, and now I see the tree falling, and now I hear the sound, which is as real as it can be for me at this moment, and it is as real as it needs to be. This is a line from Dumbledore, right? Now, who Dumbledore is? Dumbledore is the guy with the white wizard, right? But he's built off of who? Merlin. Who is Merlin? Merlin is Aristotle. He's telling you from the viewpoint of Aristotle what reality is. And he says it specifically. He says, just because he died, right? And he came to somebody in a dream. And he said, I got to ask you, Professor, is this all in my head? And he said, or is it real? And he says, yes, it's in your head, but why would that mean it's not real? See, that is the difference between existentialism and what he knows to be true, the magician. See, the existential says, if I run this sword through your heart, you will die. Because you are just a soul existing with inanimate objects. But if you believe that you are one thing and just one instance of yourself, that's probably another way to go. They actually talk about that in the Matrix. They're like, because that guy can make duplicates of himself, right?
Right.
One consciousness that exists through many people. That's what it is. They're saying, but it grew like a virus. But what was the virus? The virus was the thought. But what could the Matrix do? The Matrix could jump between realities because he knew that there was no difference between the physical world and the world of the computer. They literally all exist within reality. Therefore, they were both equally real. So therefore, he had both the blue and the red pill. He took both. Morpheus asked him too. I would have said, give me both. Hey, do you want the red or the blue? Choose. I want both. Because I want to be able to go there and there. See? That's why you look at symbology. That's why you think about, this is why symbology becomes so important. Okay? And why it becomes so important. Because then everything is a symbol. Right? If your soul exists within your body, then everything is real. But if your body exists within your soul, then everything is a symbol, which is your way that you understand something that is unexplainable. So your very body is a symbol, and it is shaped like a star. Head, hands, foot, penis. That is the goat. And you guys are running around calling yourself the goat. You are the goat. You are a goat. You are an ear, a leg, a penis, which is this jaw. Right? But all of it starts with your perception of reality. And from there you move forward. And it doesn't matter where you go from there. Because as long as you don't think that you are your body, as long as you believe that you exist within your soul and all other mankind exists within that same soul, then you will follow the golden rule. Which is what? Didn't we say what it was in the beginning?
Do unto others as they were having, do unto others as they were having do unto you.
So why would that be important if you are within your soul? Because they are created within the same soul. They are of the same soul. You are them. That's why Jesus says, do unto others as you do unto them. And why he said, why have you forsaken me? Because his spirit, they say I'm a Gnostic. This is just what the Gnostics believe. I'm not a Gnostic. That's just what the Gnostics believe. They believe that Christos is the wisdom. But I don't believe that that's right either. I think that you can't separate anything. I don't think you can separate. It's just ignorance is the lack thereof of wisdom. Or is it? I don't know. But there you go, because you are harming yourself. And we see that all the time when we call each other coons and when we beat each other up. No, you know why I'm rambling now? Let me explain why I'm rambling. Because you don't understand.
Exactly.
If a dog was to bark, you would just say he's barking. Unless you took the time to know. And I see you with your board, which means black and white people together, and it doesn't matter how we play the game. Get the fuck out of my life, bro. I don't like Masonic symbols thrown in my face. Fuck out of my face, dog. Get your bitch ass out. I ain't part of your crew. Don't come throwing no motherfucking black and white checkerboard shit at me and don't think I'm going to see that bullshit, dude. I don't give a fish and hook, motherfucker. Fish and hook. I ain't rambling for shit. Go look it up. Go look up what they believe. Go look up what they believe. Study the Rosicrucians. Study it. And guess what I have not done? I never said anything about the Noops. Because, bang, I'm initiated. So I can't talk about the Noops. I can't talk about Phi Nu Pi. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about why we haze to death. Nigga, please. I'm a maker of men. I know what hazing is. I haze, I've been hazed. I know what it does to you. It prepares you. Because if you can handle that, you are now conditioned to handle the rest of the things that they're going to put you through in your life. Because you are guided through it your whole life. That's why I respect my elders. That's why I never teach things that are not mine to teach. That's why I never violate the oaths that I've taken. But one of the ones that I've taken through many of my initiations, my Kappa Alpha Psi, Phi Nu Pi to the motherfucking day I die initiation, made me a maker of men. It told me my job was to make other noops. So I had to learn at an early age how to make noops. Tell me if you a noop if you don't know what I mean. That's my job. I'm the pole. I pick the men that I'm going to make. They come to me. They bow down. I lift them up. We work. They pledge. I tell. They graduate. We brothers. To this day. I've gone through initiations that would make you sick. If you think a little motherfucking pussy blood in your motherfucking soup is that big a deal, bro, you ain't never gonna make it through life, dog. Life is much harder than that. Oh, what am I talking about? What the fuck is this? Is you won't understand it. Let me tell you, has anybody been in the military? You've been in the police force, right?
Paramilitary.
Did they initiate you? Did you go through training camp? Was it tough?
Yeah.
Did they press you? Did they stress you?
Yeah.
I've never been in that police order, but did they stress you?
Oh, to the highest.
Did they make
extent.
you? Hold on. Did they? I'm just don't tell them what they did. I'm just asking you. Mm-hmm. Did you have to apply to them?
Yes.
Was there a process in which they said yes, that they could have told you no?
Yes.
Was there certain criteria that you had to make in order to get there?
Yes.
Were there certain things you couldn't have on your record or have done in your life to be able to be considered?
Yes.
That, my friend, is a fraternity. So now, when you were allowed to be a neophyte, which is, what do you call that? What were you called, a cadet?
Recruit. Same
recruit.
Shit. Cadet,
yeah, that's
recruit.
neophyte. When you were a neophyte, that's what they call it in Greek, a neophyte, not a sophomore, right? Sophomoric, not a freshman, a neophyte. You were a neophyte. After you did that, when you graduated from that, did they give you a badge? Did they give you anything to symbolize that you were a member of this group?
Yep.
What did they give you?
Gun and Shield Day. Graduation.
Did they salute you? Are there certain symbols that you must give your superiors at any time? Do you have to salute? Do you got to brush your eyebrow? Do you got to step? Do you got to fall down? You got to do any of that?
Got to pop it up, what they say. You got to pop it up.
Thank you very much. You are an officer, period. Forever. Even if you are not recognized as much you will talk to people and you will speak the same language. And no matter where they are, they will respect that for you because they know you pledged.
That is true.
And what did you pledge to do when they did this? Didn't they make you take a pledge?
Serve, protect, uphold the law. A whole lot of shit they said.
That is an order.
It's an order. Yep.
That's an order. And then they have a fraternal order of police, don't they?
Fraternal of police. Yep.
Thank you very much. So, stop with all that shit that they're not orders. My wife is a PhD. Okay? Do not tell me they're not orders when every fourth Sunday, half you niggas jump into a church and drink symbolic vaginal blood. Okay? You think it's the blood of Jesus, homeboy. It's not. It's
burgundy
not.
wine.
No, it's symbolic for the woman's vaginal fluid, the fluid that gives life. It's the same spell that they cast in literally in Louisiana, but you're doing it symbolically all throughout the world.
There you go.
Friend, that is vaginal blood. That is the same thing because Catholicism is this. It was put on top of existing religions when they took over the land. So your virtues turned into saints. It's a way of hiding exactly what they've always believed the whole time. And they do it in schools. They do it in police departments. They do it all over the place. And it is all based on the understanding of your existence, the true existence of reality at the root. I'm telling you, it's at the root that is the problem. The root. The root is rotten. The very root is rotten, which is your perception of reality. That's my opinion. And I'm not doing that as some kooky dude, okay? It's just what it is. That is what people believed for hundreds of thousands of years up until about when we got here, when the Protestant church took over. Stop. I'm not making it up. We exist within that. Boxing is a fraternity. You're not going to get in. You're not going to get out if you don't pay your dues. I don't know who the fuck it is. I don't understand the organizations and who they are. But dog, you're not getting up there and getting your shit off and making all this money if those guys don't want you to make no money. They own the networks, homeboy. But that's why I say you peak at 50. You don't peak at 20 and 30 and 40. You have to live your whole full maturation process. And I didn't want Rolly'S to end early. So you got to start again. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. These guys got to slow down before they speed up. Just
hey,
stop.
Steven, watch this. Look at this. Steven said, you better pray for Fannon, man. The brother telling you guys secrets that will never join unless you get a... Let me tell you. Here's the rule. Here's the rule. I told you, if you run a scam, it's cool till you get caught. I am not in trouble with anyone because I have no duty. I never took a pledge not to. If I told you the Noops, what was going on with it, they could beat the shit out of me and probably would snatch my ass off a fucking street. If I started giving you, oh, this is the bond, this is what man, please, people get murked for shit like that. Mm-hmm. Not for reading a book in the library and telling you can read a book in the library. You know why? Because you're not going to do the work necessary to get it. See, you think that just hearing it is going to be it. It's not. You actually have to do the work. You actually have to untrain your mind. You actually have to grind. And there's a reason why you should read 600 books 3 times. 600-page books 3 times. Do you know how much effort it takes to do that? Do you know how much focus it takes to do that? How much mental heavy lifting it takes to do that? It's the very process of reading it itself that strengthens your mind enough to understand things. It's not the fact that they're giving you the information. It's the fact that you're actually exercising it. See, women actually exercise it by reading. It's like saying, for you to think that you can be a fully developed intellectual without reading is like saying that you can be a marathon runner without running. You will never have the endurance. You will never have the mental elasticity to move. And by the way, none of this that I know, I'm telling you, is anything but public information. And I don't know what the rest of those guys know. The ones that are above, that are way more sophisticated than me, dude, they're just like, yeah, he got a clue. That's what they would say. Yeah, he's got a clue. He's not completely ignorant. He's got a clue. That's what they'll say. You know why? Because they've been studying that shit and they're 80 years old. And that's all they've ever read. And that's all they've thought about and they've contemplated. They're serious, serious people. Those monks, those people that sit there and contemplate, they're not just there for show, homeboy. They're not just there for show. The Dogon's not just there for show. The Dalai Lama, those people are not there just for show, bro. They're not. But that's the society talk, man. Let's get back to boxing for about 15 minutes. You know, this is a Patreon conversation, though. Go ahead, Drew. I'm sorry, man.
You want me to get some of these super chats?
Get whatever you want, dog. I'm gonna give the show to boxing now. I just want to let you guys know. Thank you very much for allowing me to say that, because there's literally nobody other than y'all that will listen to me when I go into those type of things. But I think that even if you understood half of a word of it and you go and you look into it, I do believe that it'll open vistas in your life. At least you'll have an easier time with what's going on. You'll be harder to scare, right? Like, you won't be afraid every time somebody acts like they can shoot you or somebody acts like they can bully you, because you know that that's surely just a show. It's going to be painful, maybe, but I don't even think it'll be painful if they do it right. If you just walk up and blow the back of my head out, dog, I'm not going to feel that. I'm just going to wake up. Whatever those people that really know is going on, they'll know what's going on with me, because they know. All this shit is known. I just don't know it, and you don't know it. It's just it, but it's the truth. Go ahead with the super chats, man. My bad.
Shout out to Earl Taylor Sr. That was a while ago. It jumped on me. He's shouting us out.
They don't get. I don't get super chats when I do this.
Yeah.
Cats go silent as shit.
Shout out to Slip the Jab. Fannon, I feel a level of enlightenment because of your today's show. Truly happy I caught today's live. Salute to the lawyer and the teacher. Drew, salute. I appreciate that. I'm not much of a teacher. I'm just a good student, and I just talk about what I know. If I don't know something, I shut the fuck up. I do more listening than I do talking. Shout out to Mr. Finesse. He said, "Thank you both, my brothers. You are a consistent example of excellence. The world needs to see and hear all of this. Fire, your work is appreciated." We appreciate you. We appreciate you, you know. And like I said, I don't talk about anything that I don't know about. Shout out to Terence Chavis in the super chat. He said, salute to Fannon and Drew. Salute to you, brother. You know, I don't. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. And shout out to Francois Stinson. He said, this segment for the brothers that see the sun at midnight. Thanks for the consistent enlightenment. Absolutely. Exclusive News Inside. He says, salute, Drew. Salute to you, family. And shout out to Larry Abraham Smith. This belongs on Patreon. Yeah, it's deep, and most people don't get it. Most people don't have enough patience to even sit down and listen and learn something new, you know. But like I was always taught, you know, people don't know what they don't know, and when it's something you're not hip to, you need to shut the fuck up and just listen and see if it sparks your interest. Well, go ahead. You was gonna say something? I can't hear you.
I just wanted, because Tim says something. Hey, Fannon, is knowledge power or is information power? They're tools that you can use to meet your goal. See, power, first you define the word power. And for me, that means the ability to make something manifest, right? I have the power to turn this light on. I have the power is on, so now I can see. So these lights give me the power to see, right? So information can be used, knowledge can be used to process the information, but then they're just tools, because just tools. And it's also relative to somebody else. Power is relative to the force that you're pushed against. You know what I mean? So like, I'm very powerful compared to a 5-year-old girl, but with the same force, I'm very weak compared to Drew. Right? So am I powerful you know what I'm saying? It's a relative thing relative to your ability to accomplish something. I am very, very powerful. I will say that I'm very powerful. And the reason that I'm very powerful is because I've designed my life not to need nobody. So everything that I need, I can get myself to an extent, right? So that means, but maybe 5 years ago, I was not powerful because I needed other people to help me. I couldn't do things by myself. So it's just power is a relative thing, you know? And honestly, it's just, one of the things that I really like about Neely Fuller Jr. is his concept of defining your own words in his dictionary. But when people look at what he's doing, like the first time I looked at it, I was like, man, do I use his dictionary? No, you don't use his dictionary. He's giving it to you. And he says, look, man, if any of these definitions fit for you, use it. But if not, come up with your own. Why would he say it's important for you to come up with your own definition for words? Because then your understanding is now standardized, right? And when you hear something, you have a definition, but if somebody uses it in a way that it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't fit your definition, you then know to ask them their definition of the word. You just called me a nigger. What do you mean by that? Right? You don't know, because one guy could mean, man, I just mean you're my brother. What's going on, nigga? The other means, I hate you, you're a piece of shit. But see, if you have your definition for it, which means that means a black man, but he's using it like it's a piece of shit, by coming up with that definition, you see where the gap is in your communications. And then you can start adjusting so that you can work together to solve the problem in a way that doesn't result in violence. You know what I mean? So language is very important, which is why it's not the reading of the dictionary that's important for Malcolm X. It was the fact that he did the physical exercise in jail, because he probably didn't use any of those words, a lot of those words, but he now has the mental capacity to process problems that are thrown at him more quickly, right? Like a marathon runner. So academics train their children to be intellectual marathon runners. I'm an intellectual marathon runner. I can go all motherfucking day and night thinking. Other people will get tired and, you know, or they'll listen to they'll read a book and they'll just, it'll put them out, because it's like lifting weights. Like, you don't understand, like, you have to understand that when you're reading, it takes energy to read those words and to break those words down. Encephalogram. What does that mean? You got to break up encephalogram. Gram is some shit that measures something. Encephala. What does that mean? Dude, that is work. And if you do that for 15 minutes, you're going to do this. But the next day, you're going to do 20 minutes. The next day, 5, then who knows, 10 years later, 10 or 11 hours. Let me go to sleep for about 15 minutes and I'm good. I'll be right back at it. That's why people are like, oh man, how can you get so many videos out and in the YouTube video? How can you do all that? Nigga, because I have a lot of endurance. I have a lot of intellectual endurance. I could talk like this all day in a line. I don't have a problem doing 6-hour live streams by myself because I have intellectual endurance. Do you have intellectual endurance? I can't run 6 miles. I can't. You can run 6 miles. Can you read 6 hours?
No.
You can't read 50. You can run 6 hours. Can you work 30 minutes? My wife, work ethic is fucking bananas. She can work she needs coffee in the morning, but because she started working at about age, like, I think first of all, her mother was on a farm, right? So them motherfuckers work, them farmers. But she works every minute of the day, dude. No dead time. If it's a break, it's timed. I'm telling you, dude, you're not going to outproduce her because she's a fucking machine. She's trained to do that. When our young black kids hit school, we're creative, we're brilliant, but we don't have the intellectual endurance to focus through school all day. That takes endurance to look at that motherfucker all day. It's not just discipline, it's endurance. It's not just discipline, it's endurance. You cannot just stick a kid out on the street and go tell him to run a marathon. It doesn't work. They will die. You got to go tell them to run one way around the block first. Then run 2 rounds about on the block. Then 3. You can't jump into subjects like this without having done your necessary reading. That's why I did in that book. I was like, dude, people don't want to earn their glasses. Like you guys don't want to earn much. Fine. Y'all don't want to earn your glasses. You know why I can't see? Nigga, because I read 30 books a year for 3 years. I can't see because my eyes adjusted to something like this. That's why I got glasses. You know why you guys have to? You were looking at glasses, but you don't have no rims in there? Because you're not doing this shit. That's why, exactly why people dislike school. Dude, give kids a fucking break. They cannot focus that long. It's not realistic to ask them to. Any kid that can focus that long is either been trained, they're on drugs, or something's fucking wrong with them. I'm telling you the truth. I know what it took for me to get this smart. I'm way smarter than I was when I was 18. My IQ went through the fucking roof. I'm telling you, because I worked on it. They tell you that your IQ is something you're born with. It's not. Any more than lifting weights. Now, are there certain things that certain people got or have better knacks for and certain things than other? Yes, but look, that's related to the fact that there's no death. Okay? Because people have experiences before. You're pulling from those experiences. So you may be more naturally inclined. And you think I'm lying, right? What happens with dogs? If you beat a dog and you make a dog mean, that dog's son will be mean. How does that work? Of course, Adderall. They dope them up so they don't lose focus. Doped up so you don't lose focus while everybody else is falling asleep off some boring lecture that you could have got done with in 5 minutes. That's just real. You want to teach kids, black kids' problems is not lack of discipline. It's lack of endurance and it is bad habits. But bad habits just mean habits that don't work in school. All of the habits that you have in the hood work perfectly well. You wind up, little kids can get up out of bed. They can go down to the store with money their mama gave them, walk all the way down the block, cross the street, go get the money, go get the food, give them exact change, pull it out, come back and get a mama their cigarettes or get a mama whatever it was. And they 10 years old, 8 years old. That is a complicated ass problem, complicated ass thing for a kid to do. Why can they do that? Because they've been taught how to do it. They've seen it done. Why would a kid whose dad is a lawyer be better at school than your kid? Because I went to school. And they're my kid. Consequently, they're born with my experiences. However, even though they know that that's true, you can always overcome that by training. By training. Teach your kids to be on time. Number 1. Do not tolerate your kids being late. That is the number 1 thing that gets black kids in school. CP time. Mm-hmm. Black people run into more problems just being late. Because they don't understand, because that might work where you're from. It doesn't work with them. They're on a war footing. So let's bring it down one more level. Off of the metaphysical down to this. And then I'm going to get to thank you guys. I won't talk about this for another month. I swear to God. I just really do appreciate it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with your kids. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with young black men. Nothing. They're acting exactly how they're supposed to be. They're acting exactly how they're trained to behave. And if you don't believe that, just look at what they're looking at. That's how you know what they're being trained to become. Look at what they're looking at. Look at what they're doing on a regular basis. That's what they're becoming. You become what you do. And that starts from the moment that you're there. The moment that you show. But you do start, though, I believe, with the experiences of your ancestors. But ancestors are you. That's why they say honor your ancestors, just like you honor thy brother. But it all comes from rejecting existentialism, if that's the right term, the one that has your soul inside your body, as if they can snatch it out and put it in a jar somewhere. No. Again, there's nothing precious in this world that you could destroy so easily as a human life. If it is so precious, then why is it so easy to get rid of? Why can any bozo walk up and get rid of you if your life is so precious? It's not. It's not. And that's the question of why people that are really like that can fly a plane into a building. Because they don't believe it. That's the myth. That's what they're telling you. We will prove to you that existentialism is not real by putting my body on a plane and flying it into another one, because I am fully confident that I will be back. Not in heaven with 50 virgins and all that. No, they just don't believe that their body is them. But if you don't understand that about them, you won't understand what they do. And you won't understand how important. Now, why is it so important, though? In my opinion, why is that so important? Because if people are afraid of death, they will do anything that they tell you to do to avoid it. You will do anything and everything to avoid it.
Yep.
Crazy thinking, in my opinion, it is crazy thinking. By nature, it's crazy because it's not normal. That's why they call you abnormal, Mr. Cruz. Crazy just means not normal and excited. That's what that means. Abnormal means not normal, but normal doesn't necessarily mean right. It just means what everybody's told to do. The normal person would do this. That doesn't mean it's smart. The normal people believe that when you get put in the ground and die, that's it for you and nothing ever okay. It's just it. Well, where was I before? And I asked these questions of people when I was a kid. Well, where was I before? And they refused to give me an answer. It's always, I don't know. So if you don't know, then how are you going to tell me where we're going? If I go to hell, I should have came from hell. Right?
That makes sense. I mean,
if I go to hell, I should where's hell? Where's the hell before I got here? Or did I come from heaven, show up here, and I can go back, or I go to hell? I need to understand where this shit starts at. It is limited, which is why you shouldn't take anything people say at face value.
You know, if somebody's grandma gave me an uppercut when I was in the South. I went to church and I just asked a question because as a child, it just made sense to me to ask a question. Well, if it's this, why is it not that? Everyone looked at me and that bitch gave me an uppercut and I'm calling her a bitch.
You call a little kid a bitch?
No. I'm calling an old ass woman.
Oh.
Giving an uppercut to a 10-year-old boy for asking a fucking question in church. To me, it was just logical. All right. And it was along those same lines. along those same lines. You know what I asked? Because I had a conversation with a cousin, and he wasn't into the church thing. He was older though, and his thing was, "Yo, look, I don't deal with no white religion." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, how could we function when the white men beat Jesus into our heads?" So I went to church, and I didn't use those terms, and I said, "Well, I asked, who were we as black people prior to slavery?" That's all I asked. That woman looked at me, and I'm seeing her out of my peripheral, and all I saw was a fucking fist with a ring on it, right in the face. She said, "Sit your ass down." It was a different time now. That woman was not related to me.
The black
right?
lady?
A black lady, a friend of my aunt's, bust my lip. And at 10 years old, I almost lunged at her. And I caught myself. I said, I'll start whooping on this woman. Well, actually, I'd have got jumped because, it's church, black church, and all the security was in the front row with the big hats and shit over their face. And I'm like, man, this bitch just hit me for asking a question. I just wanted to know because I was in the process of learning who I was as a black person and how, we came from Africa. We didn't know shit about no Jesus. So I just wanted to know. And I asked respectfully, and I was looking to the elders to ask those questions because they were telling me my cousin was the angry black kid being rebellious. And I just asked the question, and I got punched in the fucking mouth. Kidding me? That's church. Well, that was my experience with church, and that's one of those things that I held on to, like, wow, people don't like having conversations. Okay. So I went on my journey to find out knowledge of self. Learned a lot.
What is this?
That whole punch me in the face.
Where is this thing? Somebody asked a question, man. I lost it. Hey,
Shout out
man,
to
I'm
Woken, that
straight
super
on
chat.
studying, dog. Like, for real, I could read for, like, forever, dude. I mean, at a certain point in time, dude, you got to make up your fucking mind about what it is and start living and start pushing it down the street. That's for me. Like, I don't need to go beyond where I went because I'm not doing shit with the shit I got now, right? So, for me, and this is where I'll take a lot of people that talk to this stuff about it, like, look, man, what are you going to use this shit for? That's why I like Neely Fuller Jr. What are you going to use this shit for? Like, what is it for? What's the purpose of it? For us to say, okay, well, we're kings. Okay, we were kings. We're history. What's all the purpose of all the history, of all the lessons? What's the purpose? You will be shocked how many people will not give you any purpose. You will never be successful unless you have a purpose. It's just not going to work. You did not stumble upon any success that you've had. You've prepared for it. But I think we as people who are categorized as black in America, we have a system put on top of us that we won't shed because we like it a lot. But we got to shed it. Otherwise, if we don't shed it, and I don't believe changing from one, I just think we, as generally speaking, dude, we got to work harder at growing our minds. Just work harder. Work harder at growing our minds. And the best way to do that is what Neely Fuller Jr. said about being constructive in everything you do, you say, and you think.
Yep.
Which is why I find it so hard not to believe that Neely Fuller Jr. is a gift to us. Like, I know that sounds crazy to people. Like, I know, but I'm in the noops. Like, I don't believe that the noops, the Kappa Alpha Psi and A Phi A and Omega Psi Phi and Delta Sigma Theta, I don't believe that Howard University and Hampton and these institutions of higher learning that came about after, the end of slavery, I don't believe, dude, that the system that was in place in slavery really ever changed. It just doesn't seem like the actual it's changed in the extent that black people are not sharecroppers or locked in slavery and getting whipped and chained. That's a terrible experience for slaves. But the free people of color, it's just, we're locked in our blackness at the same time. We're locked in our blackness. But I think the way to free is just, we got to understand, man, that the whole purpose of this is for us to solve problems, and that we're going to have a problem no matter what it is. If tomorrow you magically made all of the white supremacists in the world disappear, right? Or you could slap your wand and go, and they all immediately changed into reasonable people that did not believe that anymore, we would then have an entirely different set of problems that are going to come from the same source. People not understanding that we are one, and laboring under the notion of diversity and scarcity. I have to take all of these things for myself, otherwise there won't be enough for me. What will happen if I don't have $60 billion zillion? My kids won't live. What? All you got to do is tell your kids how to kill a bird and fish and hunt. And live through their life. They're going to be okay. I don't want to die. I'm so scared of death. It's just, you'll be surprised. I refuse to talk about boxing. Like, for example, let me tell you this. If I was afraid of death, like not afraid of being killed and the pain associated with being killed, because I'm worried about that. I am. That's no doubt about my mind. I'm worried about that. But I'm not so worried because I know it's going to happen anyway. I know it's going to happen. I'm reassured by its eventuality. Only thing you're doing by trying to shoot me is cutting me off some years. But I don't even think you can do that, because really, I'm just going to be still within consciousness, because I am consciousness. I don't relate to every cell in thing in my body. I see from without in, but really I'm seeing from without in. You think you're seeing inside out, but you're really seeing outside in. You see how that even switches? Like, people think that their soul is in their body, but don't realize that everything that you get comes from outside yourself. Like, the very fact that you can see this computer, you can only see it because there's lights in the room. And the lights go into your eyes, and then your mind interprets what you see. Your food, your subsistence, all come from outside yourself. You have to eat food. All of that comes without yourself. Your air comes from without yourself. If everything else that you need comes from the outside in, why would you think that your soul resides within and not without? The soul is what's giving you everything you need. Your soul is what's giving you the food. Your soul is giving you the air. Your soul is that. Your soul is you are perceiving reality from within your soul. Your soul is not buried up underneath your esophagus. That is a mechanical view of the world that is very Eurocentric. That's the mechanical view of the world, that atoms and bodies, all these things are just building blocks like machines. And that somehow they can build a human being like a machine. You can't. You don't have the ability to give intelligence, to give consciousness. Consciousness is consciousness. No more than you can invent anything. You can't invent oil. It comes from the earth. You may make it synthetic, but you're making it synthetic with something else that comes from the earth. The synthesis is just taking other things, and getting it to serve the same purpose as the oil. You're not actually making the oil. And I used to have that shit with my preacher. It's like, come on. How can you tell me that, no, I would say this to scientists. How can you tell me that science is so great and you can't tell me why a tree is made? You can tell me what it is, but you can't make it. You have to rely upon nature to build that. And it don't need you. So if nature don't need you, but you need nature, You are just part of it. You are part of the earth. You are literally sitting on top of the earth and cannot separate yourself from it. But you think you're separate from it? It's just stupid if you look around. That's not crazy thought. That's logical. I have to breathe air outside in. I see everything outside in. If I left the atmosphere without some artificial thing from Earth that I can live in, right? Like a spaceship. Why can they leave with a spaceship? Because the spaceship is a mini impersonation or imitation of Earth. They make an Earth-like atmosphere. They can't leave that atmosphere. You can't go to other planets. You can't leave the atmosphere. Because you're part of it. It would be like you being a hair on my head and trying to go across town and grow on Drews. But you think in a different way because you were educated through what grade? And I'm asking you seriously, what is the grade you graduated from? In this system where we share information with people, what was the last grade that you passed? Was it the 12th? Was it the 16th? Now, also, when you become an officer, how many years of service did you put in? Because it doesn't stop when you get out of school. It continues as you work your way up through the trades. But that's just the world. And you can think that I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But I appreciate you for allowing me to have the conversation. And this most definitely will be members only in Patreon.
Shout out to Gene Gary Anton. He said, I realized asking questions growing up branded you a rebel. I just feel like it just that kind of holds some of us back, because if we ain't allowed to question stuff at home, we're going to do it at school. I mean, listen, I've gone through that. That uppercut at the church in South Carolina set me straight, but it put me on a specific path. And, I learned some stuff on my own, but, my mom wasn't there. My mom wouldn't allow that. My mom would have kicked that woman's ass, but, my aunt, hard body Christian as she is, what I'm saying? Let that happen, because that's just how it was done, But I told my mom got on my arm. I remember they had a fight about that. Like, yo, no, you hit him for what? You just asked a question. But different strokes for different folks. My mother's an Eastern Star. So, I know some stuff, and it led to more questions, and I never stopped learning. But,
the school thing, fun. Man, I'll tell y'all.
You're on mute.
This is with your kids. Your kids are their own people, and they're going to have to learn themselves, and they're going to have to create their own reality, one that benefits themselves. And when I say create your own reality, I mean this. Create a viewpoint and a view of yourself that you are happy with. And do not and separate what other people think of you from what you think of yourself. But be conscious of you being in the reality of another person. When you come into somebody's world, you come into their reality from nowhere. Think about that in a real sense. They walk into your house, you didn't see them. Now they're in your view. You can hear them, you can see them. They are now in your reality. You have to be able to see people from their eyes. When you walk into their reality, what do they see? When many stereotypical racists see black people, they see we come in and they see all of the symbols that have been presented to them. They see the symbol of the black skin. They see the symbol of the dark voice, of the deep voice. They see the regret, and what are they going to do? They're going to react how they were being taught to react to that stimuli. So when you go to them, you do have to put on something that is comfortable for them. Not insulting yourself, but comfortable for them. That is what we call respect. If I come into your space I have to show you respect. What does that mean? I have to empathize with you. I have to think about things as if I was you and act accordingly because I'm now in your reality. You are in my reality. If you behave to me in a manner, and this happens often, if you respond to me in a manner where it is clear that you see stereotypes and not me, I will give you a rude awakening until you come to the reality that you just walked into my world. And in my world, I'm a highly educated, confident, grown man who tries to be honest and constructive in everything he does. That is the type of man I am trying to grow this flesh into being. If you come to me and try to present me, treat me as if I am not that, I am going to let you know that I am. Because if I do not, then I become what you tell me I am in your reality, and you will treat me like that. And we will not be having that a problem, because if it gets bad enough, we will both hit restart on each other. If you get me, you will leave my reality and I will leave yours. And chances are we might leave everyone's reality if we go at it too hard. That is what is important. So when I say respect, that's what irritates me, because I know what you think of me before you come in. There's no way you think that I'm as intelligent as I tell you that I am. But I don't care. You're in my world. I'm going to tell you the truth that as I see it. I don't think you're very smart, because I think of intelligence differently than you. I just don't think you work out very much. I think you're lazy. I think you're mentally lazy. You use fallacies to try to get your point across because they're easy and you don't think people will catch you. But when you come to me with that, I will catch every one of your fallacies. I will spin them around and shove them down your throat in front of whoever's there until you understand not to do that with me. And the minute that you respect me and don't do that to me, I will immediately stop doing that to you. But it will only stop once you respect my own view of myself, like I respect your view of yourself. Terence Crawford believes he's a world champion and he has the stats to prove it. I am not going to jump in his face and treat him as if that is not true, because then he will feel disrespected. I will come into his space and treat him like a champion that he knows he is. And I will act like I know it, even if I disagree, because my disagreement does not enter into his reality. That's why I said on Twitter, you have to understand the nature of a reality, that it's not a planet. When people say flat earth, that's metaphorically what I think. It might as well be flat. I can't see the fucking curve. It's just theoretically round for me because I'm walking on a flat earth. Get it? It may in actuality, when you look from a different viewpoint, be round, but it isn't from mine, and it isn't truly at all, because perception comes from non-existence. But that's why I'm saying you got to work. And if you don't go from there, you'll be really confused. And I think Neely Fuller Jr. But I'm blessed. This is just my opinion. I was blessed because I had Neely Fuller Jr. Because I have Dr. Francis Cress Wellesley. Because I have John Henry Clark. Because I have a lot of other people that did a lot of work to get a lot of things documented and a lot of thoughts made. But after I read them, and I invite you young intellectuals to do the same thing, after you've read the masters, treat yourself like you are trying to become one and develop your own view of the world. Develop your own view of reality. Take what they gave you and build with it. What I see oftentimes for young, definitely from the conscious community, if that's what you guys call yourselves, because I don't call myself that. I don't call myself conscious because that's all there is consciousness. But many people of the conscious community, I see a lot of regurgitation of the same ideas, regurgitation and reproduction of the same solutions that didn't work before, and not a lot of ingenuity where you see, no, this is unique. This is something that builds upon what we've had in the past. I think Neely Fuller Jr. builds upon, I think young people should build upon Neely Fuller Jr. Build upon it. Don't follow it blindly. Build upon it. But build upon it for the purpose of creating a better reality for you. That's why I don't have any problem with you guys saying you want to make money. Money improves your reality. It makes your chairs more comfortable. It makes the air conditioning on. It makes you less subjective to fear and intimidation. Because the body does need to get fed, man. It has to get fed. Those needs must be met because those are problems that are put before you to solve. Ain't no raw problem with getting money. None. But be careful how you get money from yourself.
Yep.
Right? Be careful how you get money from yourself. That's the philosophy of Fannon, dog.
Yeah, some of y'all wasn't ready for that.
None of them are. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Oh,
Y'all all good with this? Hey, new member, man, thank you very much. That's why you're limb. That's why you're a limb, but not the concentration of the whole. Exactly. You're a limb, which is why dead people still get scratches on legs they missed. You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you missed a leg and it still itches. Like, I don't even have my leg anymore. Why does it itch?
Yeah, I know some disabled
veterans.
veterans.
It was never in your leg because the itch was never in your leg. Go ahead.
I know a disabled veteran. I know a few of them, but a friend of mine has a missing thumb, and he said when it was missing, he swore to God he had it. He swore it was still there. He was in the hospital like this, and he said, "Yo, I still feel my thumb." Mm-hmm. For like a couple of months, you know. Yeah. And he's just pissed off. Why?
And it's not hard to understand because he didn't accept that it left. He was not convinced in his reality yet that it wasn't there.
I just told him he was mad he couldn't play Xbox no more.
Real though. Do you know how that's how hypnotism works? Like they can make you see things that are there and make you not see things that are actually there. Through the power of suggestion, right, which is you, they're suggesting. But what is suggestion? Suggestion forces you to make a decision, right? But you don't know you're making a decision. So they keep asking you it, and then before you know it, but you don't know that they're asking you it. Before you know it, you can see it. And they know how that works. And that's stuff they teach in college. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's like changing plumbing, homeboy. That ain't some spooky shit. That's something you can go get done for you tomorrow somewhere in your town.
But no, time out. You know I got a clown for a second.
What's up?
We're talking about the power of suggestion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good at it. I like to have conversations with people and get them telling on themselves. I could sell salt to a snail. In some instances, I literally almost convinced someone to walk off the top of a building. You got a person in your chat, coronavirus updater. Watch this. Nigga, go kill yourself. You know why you gonna
that's like, do you know that is like literally something that can get my channel shut down?
Really?
That
well, he's
right
not there. He's not a real person.
No, seriously, dude. I'm very serious. That is like a line. Like if you do that, when you suggest somebody die, dog, they will shut your shit down, dude.
So what if I say go do that with laughter? Go off yourself with laughter.
Well, the way that you should say is like, man, it would be funny if you did it, and I don't suggest that you do, but damn, it might be good for everybody around. But even then, I wouldn't play with it. they're gonna come get your shit off shit like that. Like, it's just, I'm telling you, man. It's like,
You know what's amazing is you see, this is exactly what I was telling Devin Alexander was it yesterday? Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. Exactly what I was talking about. We're over here having an intelligent conversation, and here I have a fan who secretly wants me, like how a woman wants me, like how his mama want me. I'm not going to take the show in that direction. We were doing so well. We were doing so well.
We about to roll off though, man. We've been on here for like forever and a day, man. Like 3.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Hey, y'all, thank you guys so much for the chat. We'll be back to regular boxing. This will be on members only. So if you see it just disappear, it'll be on members only, and we'll get it over to the Patreon. But like I said, we could talk all kind of shit like this for 2.5 hours and still have more people on our stream than yours. It's like a dick up till you hiccup, homeboys.
We're winning.
That, we out. All right, Drew, man. Thanks so much for the convo, man. I appreciate it.
Problem,
and we only going to do this every once in a while. Not often, okay? Thank you for your patience. Peace. All right, Drew.